I'm moving to Disney! Yeah! Wow. Thanks, Hannah, for that, by the way. We're just gonna ignore all of the confetti on the floor. I caught most of it in the blanket. I was really smart before I set it off. But anyway, I'm moving to Disney. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Emma, and if you are one of the old people who have been around here for a very long time, welcome back. This channel has been sat idle for a while because I used to use it to post gaming videos, and in my life I've since moved on from making gaming content to just doing other hobbies in my life, so I haven't really been using it for a very long time, and I haven't been Twitch streaming for a long time either. I used to do Twitch streams full-time in 2020, but now I'm here using this channel hopefully to document some of my travels and my adventures, and just to tell some people in my life about what it is Emma is doing, because I always seem to be doing crazy things all the time. That's just the definition of my life, apparently. But hey, for those who are new here, you may be here because one, you are a family member or a friend or a colleague or something who is perhaps curious about what it is I'm doing, and this is the video to explain all of that. Or maybe you're someone who is looking to do the cultural representative program yourself and you're researching, so in which case, welcome. You're about to embark on a very exciting adventure, and I'm going to tell you in as much detail as I can with the resources that I have what my personal process was getting to this point. Let's say officially, I am going to be working in Walt Disney World in Epcot on the Disney Cultural Representative Program from July 2024 to July 2025. And yeah, it feels crazy to say that out loud. I'm just gonna go through and tell you guys like what the process was, what the program is entirely, because there are people here who literally don't know what it is, and I have some notes so we can crack on and maybe we can learn something together today. For those who don't know, the Cultural Representative Program is a Disney international program that Walt Disney World holds for people from the UK to come over to America, to Florida, to work in Epcot for an entire year in the United Kingdom Pavilion, or the UK Pavilion, or the PAV, whatever, you know, there's different names, but it's it's the part in Epcot where the United Kingdom bit is. Walt Disney World Epcot is one of the theme parks, and part of it is called the World Showcase. So that's the portion of the park that I'm going to be working in, and every single country in the World Showcase represents, you know, that country very authentically, and therefore the people who work in those countries actually come from those countries. Like, they're on a Disney Cultural Representative program. Everyone you see working in the World Showcase has gone through the same process as me in whatever country they're in, and they've made it all the way to the end and they're working in Walt Disney World. So every single person you meet in each of those countries comes from those countries, and we are ever so lucky to have the United Kingdom as one of the countries in Epcot, in one of the pavilions in World Showcase. So people from the UK can come over and work there, and that's super duper exciting. People have asked me loads of questions about like housing and stuff and living situations. Yes, there is Disney housing that you can live in when you go to Walt Disney World. It's called Flamingo Crossings, and you can live there the entire year, and you get internet, and you get, well, I think you get internet, I hope so. Events, pools, heating, electricity, all that is like under the package, and then obviously you have to buy your own food and stuff, but it's a like a little accommodation building with like everything included for those who are going to be living there for a year, so people don't have to go out and find their own accommodation in Orlando, which I can imagine would be pretty hard and probably way more expensive than going and living in Disney housing. So you live in Disney housing and you work, like, I think the minimum is 35 hours a week from what I've heard from other people, but yeah, you basically work and live in Disney. And yes, you do get free Disney tickets, because that's something else everyone always asks me. You get to play in the parks in your free time, and then you get to work in the parks on your work day. So I think I'm most excited about getting to do like every single event throughout the year. I've just noticed there's confetti everywhere. This is just gonna be everywhere now. This is my life now. Let's go through some of my personal background, where I've come from, why I want to do this, and then I'm just gonna go and list off a bunch of dates so people can get sort of a general idea of how long the program takes to get into. And before I get into it, fair warning, it takes a long time. The process from seeing the applications open to actually going out and working in Walt Disney World, I will warn all of you, takes a heckin' long time. So you need to like live your life in the time that you're waiting, but just know that you have to be prepared to wait, like possibly years. My background, hey, as I said, I have been a full-time Twitch streamer in the past, but I have a very strong background in hospitality. I currently work in the holiday industry as a high ropes instructor, and I have been an activity instructor for many years. I mostly did it as like a summer thing for like throughout university, and then when I left university I worked for companies such as PGL, you might know PGL. I'm not going to name the company that I currently work for because I just don't feel like that. For my own safety, I don't want to tell you where I work. You know. But I've worked in hospitality as well, in restaurants. I worked for McDonald's as my very first job. I know people don't always love working in McDonald's, but it was a good first job and I enjoyed that very much and I got a lot of experience from it. I also worked for Auntie Anne's Pretzels and I was making little pretzels every day. Very American company that. And then I also worked for a local steak restaurant as like a full service waitress, and I was like serving very fancy meals and stuff. So I have quite a strong background in food and beverage and hospitality, but I've also have a very strong background working in the holiday industry, which of course Walt Disney World is one of the biggest holiday companies in the entire world. So yeah, I'm very excited to be a part of that. And then one more thing as well, which I think maybe has contributed to my whole like enthusiasm and also just suitability for the program as well, is that I also worked abroad in Canada for 2 summers as a camp counselor, and I also made it to like a supervisor level as well, so that was quite fun. But yeah, I have lived abroad before in very hot weather. I will say that people think that Canada's cold, but during the summer it's like 40 degrees. So yeah, I've also worked abroad in very hot weather as well. I'm gonna go through these dates now because I've been saying I'm gonna do it for a little while. So let's just go through and tell you guys what the process is from seeing that the applications are open to getting the invitation to go and work out in Walt Disney World. First thing that I saw was an Instagram post on the 12th of December 2022 said that the Disney Culture Representative Program was reopening. It was closed for a few years and this is the first time that it's opened like on the Yummy Jobs website to apply. I think there were a few people that went out who were previous like alumni of like Disney programs, but I think this is the very first time that it's been open for everybody. And they posted on the 12th of December that it was going to reopen, and then they didn't really, I think they did say a date actually. I think they said the 9th of January. So I have my countdown ready, and on the 9th of January the applications opened and I applied pretty much straight away because I had already prepared a specific Disney CV and a specific Disney cover letter that I had written talking about all the reasons why I feel like I would be suitable to work in Walt Disney World. So yeah, it's probably a good idea to prepare ahead if you know that the applications are going to open, and just get that application in as soon as possible. I don't actually know if the date of me applying contributed to the fact that I got the interview in the end. I did apply on the first day, so that's just a little bit of background information in case maybe that's relevant, I don't know. And then on the 15th of February 2023, I actually received an email from Yummy Jobs, which are a recruitment company that do the initial like, they like find people for Disney and they sort of like narrow down the massive pool of applicants. A recruitment company that sort of sorts through the initial applications, and from that recruitment company I received an email saying, hey, we think you're a good person, we like your application, but unfortunately you're on the wait list, because I presume a lot of people applied, so a lot of good people probably applied too. And so I got put on a wait list and I was like, okay, well at that point I was kind of thinking this might be it, but I'll just wait and see what happens. And then on the 27th of February, the 15th was when I received the first email. On the 27th of February 2023 I received an invitation to a pre-screen interview. So a pre-screen is the initial interview. It's how Yummy Jobs sort between the people to then send out to Disney, as I said before. And this takes place in Epping, Essex. So I happen to be going to London with my mum anyway for a completely different event entirely. So then I ended up staying in London with my sister before this pre-screen interview. She just happened at the same time to be doing a French exam in London, so we got to stay together and split the cost. Coincidences, I think fate, but coincidences happened, so we got to stay together, and she's now since moved to Paris, so that's very exciting. So she was doing a French exam, I was there for the pre-screen interview. So I'm going to talk in more detail in a video about what happens at those interviews, but essentially it was an initial interview where you talk about your suitability, your availability, what previous work experience that you have that can help towards the roles that they're offering, and then just to like demonstrate that you can talk about your culture. Not long after that, the actual interview happened on the 14th of March 2023. I did not mention that. But on the 17th of March 2023, so only 3 days later, after the interview actually happened, I got an invitation to the final interview that takes place in London, in Hammersmith, in the Disney HQ, like the actual Disney building, for the whole of the UK. And it's massive, by the way, it's huge. After that, on the 21st of March 2023, so a few days later, I got sent an email to say that I had to officially apply with the Disney Company, because as I said, Yummy Jobs is the recruitment company that like finds the people to send to Disney, and then those people then get invited by Disney to apply. It sounds really complicated, but basically you send off your application again to Disney officially and not Yummy Jobs, so then they can review that and have it ready for the final interview when they're going to be talking to you. On the 31st of March, so 10 days after I had given all that information, I was invited to the presentation and in-person interview, so then I got to select a time and a day. So I went on the second day. I just didn't want to go on the first day, I didn't want to go on the last day either. I just felt like I wanted to go on the second day. I don't know why. I just had this, like, a lot of my life, I just go by feelings, and I really wanted to go on the second day. I chose to go on the very first slot, so they do a presentation at like 9 o'clock, and then I think it lasts about half an hour, roughly. So they do a little presentation which tells you all about the company, all the questions that you might have, and it was very informative and very good. So they do that little presentation, and then immediately after they start the interviews, and my interview was in that first slot of the day because I wanted to get out of the way, or like not really get out of the way, but I wanted to like do it as soon as possible because I'm one of those people who has quite a lot of anxiety, but specifically anticipation anxiety. So I didn't want to like sit there thinking about it like all day. I just wanted to get it done, like put my best foot forward and like just show that I'm eager and I'm like, I want this. So I did it in the very first slot. Hopefully I was able to get, because they did fill up extremely quickly after the email was sent, the invitation email. I just happened to be in my sister's house at the time. Again, my sister seems to crop up a lot in all these moments, which I think is really interesting and very special. I happened to be at my sister's house when this email came through, and I basically was there and ready to say which slot I wanted because I was just chilling. The actual interview was on the 20th of April 2023 at 9:30 AM. That's when the final interview took place. We spoke to Disney recruiters there, so they were just asking pretty much the same questions as the pre-screen interview. They also asked a lot about Disney knowledge. Like, they asked me like, oh, who's your favorite Disney character, and like what's your favorite rides. I think they were trying to like get a sense that you know what you're talking about and you know about the company, which obviously is, you know, at least a little bit important, you know. I did that interview and I felt like it went pretty well. It was very quick. I will warn you, the interviews are quick because they're trying to get through a lot of people, so that you have very little time to prove yourself. But yeah, it was a very quick interview, and then I was on my way home from London pretty quickly after that. On the 8th of June 2023, so there was quite a gap between actually doing the final interview and learning anything about like my progress or whether I'd even passed or whatever. It was the 8th of June 2023, I received my very first email that I was on the wait list. So they did say in the interview that most people would go onto a wait list because they were currently waiting for the labour projections for the following financial year or whatever. So they were waiting to find out how much money they could put towards recruiting people for the UK pavilion in Epcot. We were told that we would most likely be put on a waitlist email and that we would have to wait until the slots became available and there were jobs actually out there for us to do. So the waitlist email essentially says, hey, we like you, like, you will fit a role at our company. We are just waiting for that role to become available for you. Loads of people got this. We've got a big group chat going at this point of people who are waiting, and there was, ever since, you know, that date, the 8th of June 2023, or even slightly before that, after the final interview, there was a lot of people talking about waiting, and, you know, it is a long wait. So that was the first waitlist email, and then after that they pretty much email you every single month to say, do you still want to be on the waitlist? Are you still interested in the job? If you say no, then obviously the slot can possibly go to somebody else. But I can't really think of anyone that I know personally that has rejected their waitlist email, but I suppose it's possible that circumstances change and people are able to come off of the waitlist. So on the 8th of July 2023 I got my second waitlist email. On the 7th of August 2023 I got my third waitlist email. On the 6th of September 2023 I got the fourth waitlist email. So you can see where this is going. And then on the 15th of September 2023 I got the email that says, congratulations, you are moving to Walt Disney World, you have a job. And I was like, huzzah! And then I got an email being like, welcome to the team. But basically they send you the contract on your like Disney dashboard that you have to sign. You have to be like, yep, I accept the job. And on that contract, that's what tells you what the date is and what role you get. So I got the email. I had no idea when I was going out because it doesn't explicitly say on the email itself. So I was like fumbling. I was like, I was like shaking. I couldn't get on the freaking dashboard because I couldn't, my fingers didn't work. It turned out that I got 8th of July as my start date. So yes, I have like 10 months to wait until I start. It's a pretty long time away, but I am moving to Disney on the same month as my birthday, in the beginning of summer, which is one of my favorite seasons of the year. So I feel like everything's just worked out so perfectly. I'm gonna arrive during a very hot season of the year, but I'm very excited to be arriving like right before like my birthday and stuff. I feel like it'll be like a perfect birthday present. And I also found out as well that I will be in quick service food and beverage. So what that means is I'll be working on like the beer carts and the fish and chip shop, and then I think some people get to like move into the pub eventually, so potentially that could be in my future. But yeah, you can either get food and beverage or you can get merchandise. So I have no experience in retail or selling stuff. I've never worked in a shop before, so I think people who have that experience get the merchandise roles and then end up working in like the little tea shop and then the little merchandise shop. So yeah, like hopefully everyone who's watching this feels a little bit more informed about everything. That is the program, that is where I'm at right now, and I would like to make more chatty fun videos about the program as well. Yeah, I feel like I needed someone like this to come and tell me like everything exactly. I'm a very like anxiety ridden person and I love dates and I love knowing when things are gonna happen, so hopefully this has given you some context to sort of the dates that I have done things on. So it may not be the same for the next program, it may be completely different, but it'll give you a little bit of an idea of the wait time between things, when you can expect things to happen, the actual order that things are going to happen in if you are applying in the future, and hopefully it helps. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them. If you're someone who is looking to do the program and wants to ask about the application stuff, obviously I can't say anything about the program itself yet because I haven't started and I will not be starting until July. But yeah, I do intend to make some videos on the pre-screen, the final interview, just my general bucket list. Like I'm going to be making loads of little videos leading up because I know that I'm going to be waiting and wanting to like plan a little bit, so I'll hopefully take you guys along with me. I'll try and also update on the specific documents and stuff that I have to complete, or like the stages that people don't necessarily talk about leading up to the program. So I'll try and do little vlogs every time that something happens that's significant so you guys can follow along. But thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. I hope that in between the rambles you guys got some good information, and yeah, it's real nice to meet you if you're someone who is new here. Maybe if you're someone who's doing the program as well, hi. I may be one of your future co-workers. That's very exciting. But thank you so much everyone, and I will see you in the very next video. Bye!